know I probably should be working on the Kill la Kill Romance of Rockyo project. I mean, I'm already at episode or chapter 3 when filming it, but I need to get something out there just to kind of disclose on the MisAnthro situation. That I unfortunately knew about this, and that was where I kind of cut ties with MisAnthro this year. There's things that I have addressed in the video, but I wanted to kind of elaborate a little bit more on my journey with MisAnthro in that sense. And this is going to be a bit of a raw video, so there's no scripting in this, but anyways, so this is back after I deleted my old YouTube channel. That was in January 2018. Fast forward to, I'd say, 3 to 4 months, when the last time that I watched Nostalgia Critic's video, that was the new Beauty and the Beast movie. And I had a talk with a friend of mine in real life, and we kind of chatted about stuff, and told him that I had seen the Nostalgia Critic Beauty and the Beast review. Then he told me about the change the channel situation. I was like, wait, what, change the channel? What was that about? And then I looked up into it, and it turns out that the Channel Awesome has been into some pretty shady stuff. And MisAnthro being one of the many people who spoke against Channel Awesome, he made a response video on his Deadpool 2 review. And it had some good points, and it discussed how Doug Walker kind of, I wouldn't say a lot of it was misinformation, but he's got some points wrong on the Deadpool 2 review, and you'll have to excuse me, one of my house cats is sleeping. So, anyways, and then MisAnthro called him out on these points. And as soon as I started making this channel, which was back in October 2018, and then I started adding his videos into my playlist, and I've liked them. He's made some good points in his videos where he kind of breaks down on some things, especially with some points in the Sailor Moon video, and where Doug Walker only watched the American Viz dub, or not Viz, but I think it was the Deke dub that Doug Walker was talking about. And then MisAnthro called him out on certain points, and the whole Sailor Moon age thing, I don't even have to even recite that part. It was a cringy moment. But then some time has passed. MisAnthro continued making videos, and he's made reviews for Last of Us Part 2. He didn't play the game. He did talk about the story, and whether you want to agree with him or not it's not something to kind of debate over. I didn't make the choice to buying the game. I know some of my friends probably got into the game and liked it. I didn't bother buying into it. I only played the first game, liked it, didn't bother playing the sequel, because I don't support any of these socialist liberal agendas that Naughty Dog has been putting out. So that's just the tip of the iceberg of what's going on with Naughty Dog at the moment. But I mean, at least about 1.5 years ago it was, but soon it's about to be 2 years, since from what I can understand is that Last of Us Part 2 came out in June of 2020. But anyways, 2020 went along, and then he's made reviews of Steven Universe, and some parts I agree with, but looking into that, I think he might have got some points with Steven Universe wrong. I think it was probably had something to do with Lapis, but I'm pretty sure that's been discussed by some other people. And he isn't the only one who had some wrong points, but Lily Orchard also had some wrong points as well. I don't even like Lily Orchard. She's, as far as I can tell, Lily Orchard's pretty much a POS. But then we've got Cuties. This one was a bit of an interesting one, because back in August of 2020, actually, rewinding back to it, Netflix announced it with a poster, and yeah, it was not good. The poster, and I'm not even, and even this video is raw, and I'm not even gonna bother showing the poster because it's horrendous. I mean, whether you think the story is good or not, I don't think it's particularly good. It's either way, I don't endorse that kind of content that Netflix endorsed. Now, they didn't make Cuties, but they did endorse it because it's child exploitation. I do not support that. It was awful. All right, and fast forward to January 2021, I think it was, maybe. I think either that or could be close to February 21. He made a tweet about someone, hoping that this individual would get hit with a brick and, have a grenade through your... this is also one of the things that actually made me kind of not being against him per se, but it's just that I've been a little bit concerned about his language barrier. And, some people are going to say that, oh, his language barrier doesn't matter, his mean tweets don't matter. Well, okay, maybe mean tweets, you could argue whether you want to agree with them or not. It's more of a double-edged sword. So sometimes you kind of have to roughen up in order to get things done, but there's times when it's necessary and sometimes that there are not. And I think, as much of a shitty left-wing spite that Twitter is, yeah, it was a bit of a mess. Then he came back with the new Twitter account. Time has kind of gone on. He still made reviews. Sometimes he'll poke fun at people, and it's kind of his thing. But I mean, I normally don't do that kind of stuff. Sometimes I do if I see an enabler or defender. But not as often as MisAnthro. Those are just people who disagree with him. But whatever. Then more videos came out about MisAnthro, who kind of has these types of behaviors that he's had with other people, and yeah, as time went on, not really much has changed. Then this month in January, things started to look pretty bad for him. So first thing what happened is that with Real Thomas, he made a 5-part video. Whether you want to agree with his points or not is irrelevant. So what happened is that MisAnthro threatened that he would copyright strike Thomas. Then Lyle Convoy called him and just told him, hey, don't copyright strike Real Thomas. And they agreed. Then later on, MisAnthro copyright struck Real Thomas. And it was a mess. That caused them to have a call. And then MisAnthro made an apology. And yeah, that was an abuse of power that he did. So, I mean, I'll admit, it didn't look good on him. I was willing to just give him the benefit of the doubt that maybe it was just a one-time thing, and he's not going to do it again. Then, next thing he did was him reaching out to Cartoonshi, and I've already made this discussion from the video, but so what happened is that I found this out from while I was at work, and I discovered that MisAnthro made an apology video about Cartoonshi, and he was using his alt account. He wanted to, wonder why he was blocked and why Cartoonshi didn't want to have anything to do with him anymore. And so he used an alt account to try to reach out to him. And it was like Delightful Champion. Yeah, I think that was the name of that account, but it's since then been deleted. But anyways, so MisAnthro in the Sock Puppet account, he tried to reach out to Cartoonshi, hey, can I DM you in Twitter and whatnot? he was digging a little bit deeper into this whole thing, and MisAnthro found out that Cartoonshi didn't want to have anything to do with him anymore because of his, you know, his mannerisms, his language barrier, and all that. And that kind of got him to think that he was one of the haters and that he's just going to put him in the video. And with that sock puppet account, he even threatened that he would put, or MisAnthro would put Cartoonshi in the video, and that if he didn't want it, he would have to talk to him. And ironically enough, MisAnthro did block Cartoonshi based on the Twitter thread that he made this weekend. So it gets worse from there. And you know, people were kind of getting a clue that, maybe MisAnthro is the sock puppet account. And so, in order to rectify that issue, MisAnthro tried to use his main account to talk to a sock puppet account, but the damage was already done. He pretty much exposed himself in that situation, and then Lyle Convoy found out about this. He was asking him, MisAnthro, is this you? No. No? Then he looks again and was like, okay, I'm going to give you one more chance. Just please be honest with me. Is this you? I mean, without trying to lose it, you can tell that Lyle and his friends were just livid over this. And MisAnthro admitted that it was him. And among other things that I'll get into in just a minute. And he was pissed at this situation, and you know, MisAnthro tried to fix the damage that he caused by trying to make an apology video when he was told later on that, you know, hey, don't make a video about Cartoonshi, don't make an apology video. It's like, oh no, I just wanted to, you know, take accountability and be responsible. And no, yeah, MisAnthro, there's another thing that I found out is that he was actually on the spectrum. Not to say that, you know, being on a spectrum is what makes you bad or anything, no. But he did lied about being on a, you know, because he didn't want to see the reaction of people, even though for, like, however long, it's probably longer than 4 years, because as far as I know, he started his YouTube channel at the end of December of 2014. You know, he has been around people that have been pretty harsh, and even then they never... I mean, some people probably poked fun of him for that, but a lot of them didn't make fun of him for that reason, but it's... I don't know, it's... You know, just finding out more and more about what he was doing behind everyone's backs, and just... Especially with recent events, it was just horrendous about what happened. So, Lyle and Mince grabbed him. They were not having it anymore. He was just not being a good representative of what he was advocating for. It was horrendous. Then Lyle Convoy stream happened, and that's where I started finding out more about it, and I was not happy with what MisAnthro did. And that's where I decided to unsubscribe from him and wanted nothing to do with his lies and his BS. And yes, I'm saying this as a former fan, because I was a fan of MisAnthro. I was a fan since 2018. And now in 2022, I'm not going to be coming back to subscribing him at some point. I think a lot of people who respected him are just not going to take that anymore, and just either they'll unsub from him, or he's going to work a lot to fix his problems, because whether if it's going to take 10 years, 20 years, I would say maybe even a century or half a century, which I'd probably be 77 or 78 at that time. I mean, at that point, if I was like, I was at 78, then I'd still have issues, you know, with MisAnthro and what he did, because it's just going to take a lot a long time for him to really kind of, I mean, even that the language barrier and mannerisms is killing him at this point. And not to mention that he's 29 years old. And Cartoonshi was said to be 17, which is still a child. Even if in some states they say that you're at the age of consent, you're still a child until you reach 18. Yeah, 18 or longer, it just did not look good for MisAnthro. I'm not saying that he's done anything that would be very egregious like EDP did or whoever, but it still wasn't a good look on MisAnthro. I don't know if I'm gonna resub to him again. I'm not gonna be resubbing him because of what he was doing. He was not being, this. I don't even think he was always as good of an individual as some people make him out to be. Some of his fans, they'll say that he still did more good things than he does bad, but I think this one bad thing is probably going to paint a bad image on him, even with all the good things he's did. He tarnished it. He tarnished his reputation. He just ruined it all. And for what? Trying to mess around with a 17-year-old cartoon reviewer? Really? I honestly would not want to spend that time trying to mess around with people, especially if they're, children, like you have messed with them. And I do not want to have to spend my life just being on Twitter getting angry at everyone's opinions. It's not the kind of life that you want to live in. Because there's more things to life than just sitting on Twitter all day. There's jobs out there, there's bills you have to pay, there's other things that you have to do as an adult. And not to mention that I'm 2 years younger than MisAnthro, and even then I was able to accomplish more than what he has. Well, to be fairly honest, I mean anybody on my channel, or anyone's channel really. I mean anyone that's like in their mid-20s or late 20s, or even in their early 20s, they could have achieved more than what MisAnthro has in his life. And I don't even care if all the dislikes I got from my video come from his fans, because they should be upset with what MisAnthro did with Cartoonshi, not me. I didn't make the sock puppet account. I didn't do any of that stuff. He did. He admitted that he made the sock puppet account. He admitted that he lied about being on the spectrum. He lied everything. I'm getting that kind of same scenario from Friday night. It just was not good. Because I've looked up to him for a few years now. I've looked up to him, and now that trust is not going to be earned back. It just did not look very good. If anything else, I think the one thing to kind of take away from is, this is the same thing that's happened in my video, but there's more to life outside of the internet. So try to get some fresh air, try to touch some grass, just try to enjoy life. I know it's difficult trying to get outside, but just try to enjoy life. You can still be critical of certain things, but not in a way that's happened. And not to mention with all the arguments and certain things that you might not like, but you just have to take it as an adult. I mean, I'm 2 years younger than MisAnthro, and even then, I still managed to hold things better than he ever could. So, and if he decides to put me in his hate-dom video just because I did not like what he did with Cartoonshi, so be it. Because if anything, I will have things ready just to show that he is picked with the wrong people. Now, there are some people that, you know, whether you want to say that they are wrong for picking on MisAnthro Pony, some of them probably shouldn't have messed with him to begin with. I'll agree. I'll admit to that. But there are some people who used to follow him that, you know, you should not have messed with. So, that's all I have to say in this video. This is pretty much my last time I'm going to be talking to him. Unless, if he starts messing with me, I'm going to have to mess with him. But, for now, I just want to be able to get back to things. Hopefully, you know, hopefully my channel doesn't get annihilated by his fan base. It probably will happen, but... So, thank you for watching. Obscure Titan, you know, feel free to subscribe, and enjoy life. Have a good day.